y'all, welcome to Criminally Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. I'm Susan. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as Criminally Creative Podcast. Today is Friday, August 18th, and this is episode 46. If you are new, I appreciate you checking me out. I have had a couple of new subscribers this week. I think probably because I posted a link in the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook. But if you are new here, I appreciate you checking me out. And if you're returning, I appreciate you coming back. This week, it is all about cross stitch pretty much. I don't have any of my other crafts. Mostly. I take that back. I do have a little bit of sewing. Excuse me. And the coughing was almost gone. And now the weather has decided it wants to go back and forth. And my sinuses are acting up, so I am still coughing again. I apologize. I will make every effort to cut the worst of it out where possible. So, anyway, it's been about not quite 3 weeks since I recorded last time, which is pretty good for me. But as I've mentioned before, I'm heading out of town next week. And so I wanted to get a video in before then. So we will move on, I guess, to Hearsay, which there's not much to hearsay about. Mainly in the last 3 weeks, it's just been work, which has been relatively quiet, except for about 2 days this week where they came in and did a whole bunch of stuff, including overriding a bunch of vetoes. And then they left again. And I don't think they're coming back for another couple weeks. So I really wish they'd just come back and wrap it all up and go, but apparently that's not going to happen. Anyway, so nothing else really going on. The last couple weekends I've been home, been piddling around. Actually got, you may notice there's stuff on the walls back here. I actually got pictures up on the walls from like January when I was reorganizing my craft room. And I actually did some sewing last weekend, which I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, so let me move on to all of the crafting. So first up is verdicts, and I have 2 verdicts this time. I'm still very impressed at myself because every single time I've recorded this year, I have had finishes, which is not normal for me. But anyway, so I keep starting a bunch of new projects, but at least I'm finishing some. Not quite at the same rate, but excuse me. So first up is the little Mill Hill kit that I showed you last time that I had started Saturday of the Barefoot Needle Arts anniversary, that I had gone down to Myrtle Beach just for the day to hang out with Amy and Memory and my friend Peggy for the anniversary. I was trying to stop swinging, and I had just taken this little kit to start because it was just easy to, you know, throw in a bag and bring with me and not have to bring a light and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, but I finished that. So that is Taboo Kitty by Mill Hill. I don't remember. I think that, I can't remember if that's one of the new ones that came out this year, if it's one I had for a while. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I finished that. It's perforated paper, and I just finished, I used leftover beads and strung them. And I have some like velvet with adhesive that I just put on the back for them. And that's how I do most of my ornaments. So got that. And then the other verdict that I have is, I think the last time I recorded was like July 30th, 29th, 30th, something like that. So April 1st, the last part of the Sewing Room Sow by Little Dove Designs came out. And so I have finished that. This was a, excuse me, a stitch along by Little Dove Designs that came out in 6 parts over the last 6 months. And is now available on her website as the full pattern if you'd like it. I did this on 28 count Picture This Plus dwarf in the called for DMC 2/2. And other than a couple little minor mistakes that were totally my design features, everything came out good. I really like it. Now I've just got to decide what I'm going to do with it. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to really frame it. I might do a soft finish on it, kind of a, you know, quilt wall hanging type finish, and hang it somewhere here, probably so I can hang it on like the side. Well, you can't So the room, side of the room you can't see this way is all like cubes and stuff. And I don't have, you can see my 2 flat walls. Other than, well, no, I have 3 flat walls. The 3rd flat wall is totally covered in cubes and bookcases, pretty much. This wall right here at me is like this weird angle because I live in a geodesic dome. So I don't have I don't have flat walls everywhere. Anyway, I think if I do this like a quilt finish, then I can, you know, like thumbtack it to the side of one of the cubes or something and not actually have to find wall space for it. So that's probably what I'm going to do to it. We'll see when I get around to it. I'm very bad at finishing projects and not fully finishing them. Something like this, I can fully finish it like really fast and really easy. You know, that I've got to like cut the excess fabric off. I've got to iron it. I've got to pin it to a foam core or lace it to a foam core or, you know, whatever. Or if I do a soft finish, I got to sew a bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm sure at some point I'll get a burst of energy and finish a bunch of stuff, but we'll see. So those are my 2 finishes. So we will move on to Court is in Session. So my, I do Whip Go, and if you don't know what Whip Go is, go to Jessie Marie Does Stuff YouTube channel, and she has a video on there about what that is. But it's basically like a bingo board that you create. And so I finished my first Whip Go call for August, which was the Snow Queen by Mirabilia. I started this for Mania of 2021. I've worked on it very sporadically. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I have completed all my Whip Go goals are 10 hours of work on the Whip Go projects. And I have completed, ooh, I just remembered something. I'll be right back. So what I remembered is that I had purchased a design board from the Fat Quarter Shop to help hold up my projects so that I can keep them a little bit straighter and put something behind them when I need to. So this is where I got to in 10 hours. Sorry for the crease right down the middle. Before I started, I had done some of this blue, some of this, most of that. And so what I mostly did is all this white here, that little bit of there. I did a little bit more here. All told in the 10 hours, I did another 2,177 stitches. So some decent progress on that. This is on 32 count Witchell Twilight Blue, which I believe is the called for. I bought this kind of as a kit, and all the rest of it is the called for DMC with a couple of Karen water lilies and eventually the beads that it calls for. This is currently in a bag by Lynn X Stitch Creates. Oh, and the other thing I did the last weekend is put tags on all my bags because I was getting to the point where they weren't all in like a bag that was themed appropriately for the thing, and I now have over 50 projects and I couldn't always remember what was what, so I put little tags on all my bags so that it's easier to figure out when you're, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can move my chair. You can see right here in my calyx, however you say that word, from IKEA, I have projects I'm not currently working on stacked in there. The projects that I'm actively working on for the month, I have like a little storage ottoman just to the right of where I sit to stitch, or actually it's kind of underneath where my frame is, and I keep the ones I'm actively working on in that each month. Excuse me. So my second Whip Go call for August is in this bag from Barefoot Needle Arts, which is an envelope bag. I have the envelope kind of tucked in right now. This is the Haunted Library Sal by Lola Crow Designs. This was a stitch along last year that I started in July of last year, but I just didn't keep up with it. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And this is what it looked like the last time that you saw it. And here is where it is now. I still have this on the Q-snap because I have only, so far I have done 5 hours of my 10-hour goal on it this month, and I still have about 5 more hours to do. So I have finished the structure of the bookcase, and I've started filling in there. So far in about 5 hours, I've done 1,479 stitches this month. So that one, I'm starting, you know, as you will see here in a little bit, I have had startitis, and I have a bunch more projects already kitted up that I want to start in the next couple of months, and even another one that I might be kitting up tonight to start, which I'll talk more about on the docket. But my theory in general is that if it's started, I can pick it up and work on it. I have a lot. Right now I have 54 projects. But I am kind of already thinking about next year and how I'm going to manage my projects, and not doing a no new starts, but setting some rules for starting, because right now I'm just kind of willy-nilly all over the place. But because I'm thinking that way, I'm also kind of like, well, I got to start everything so that I don't have to fit it into the rules next year. So we'll see. And then my third planned project for the month is my August full coverage. This is in another Lynn X Stitch Creates bags. This was one of her monthly bags a while back. This is Haberdashery Shop by Doreen Jones, which will look like this when it's finished. And it looked like this the last time you saw it. And here's where it is now. I'm doing this on 20 count Ada Easy Grid. Most of my full coverages are on 25 count Lugana Easy Grid. This one I am doing on 20 count Ada Easy Grid. That is over here. That is the full width of the project. So that's part of why I did this one on 20 count, was actually to make it a little bit bigger than it would have been on 25 count. And I'm doing this with all the called for DMC floss. I have done about 1,029, not about, exactly 1,029 stitches on this month, and plan to hopefully get at least another 1,000 on that. Next up in this Sock Monkey bag, which is also from Lynn X Stitches Creates, is a project I showed you last video that I had just started. Looking for the picture. This is Christmas Moose, which is a Panna kit. I started this on July 25th for Christmas in July. I had just seen so many people doing him, and he's just adorable. I had to do him. This is where it was the last time I showed it to you. And I did a little bit more on him. Let's see. You get him turned around the right way. And this is where it is now. So since you last saw it, I did another 391 stitches on it. Mostly, I think, out here. So, worked on that a little bit. Oh, what I was going to say when I was talking about Haunted Library is I'm already thinking about next year. And Haunted Library is one of those that is not huge. I would really like to get finished. So it may be one that I break up into pieces. I don't know if it'll be a full 12 months or if it might just be 6 months or something to like set specific goals to get that one done. But I'll see how far I am at the end of the year. So now we're on to the new starts since last time, and there are quite a few of them. The first one is in this bag from Creative with a K, Carol with a C Designs. She is on Etsy. This is one of her small all fabric bags. I generally buy her medium, but I bought this one just to see if I like the size. And I like the size fine. I prefer her little bit bigger ones though, I think. This is my March Quaker, which will look like this when it's done. It is called March Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art. This is the series that I'm starting one on the 8th of every month for #7 on the 8th for Julia. My friend Julia Brooks, who will be 70 in December, and this is like a birthday sale for her. Start one every month on the 8th because she will be 70 on the 8th of December. So we're doing 7 projects, 7 starts. It doesn't have, you don't have to start and finish it. I am trying to finish each one of these in the month that I start them. And so far, the first 2, I have been able to do that. So this March, these are the colors. I'm using the called for colors. Obviously, since that's just a new start, you have not seen this one before. I'm doing this on Barefoot Needle Art Sandy Toes. And you will see there's February on, the same fabric that February is on, and also the same piece that actually that Love is Love is on. So that is what I've done so far. It's just that one big, I want to say emblem, that's not the right word, motif, that's the word I'm looking for. So I usually start these on the 8th and then pick them up later again in the month after I finish my Whip Go goals and stuff and get them finished, or try to get them finished. That's what I've been doing the last 2 months. Okay, next new start. So I wasn't going to start this. I wasn't going to do this. I had not even bought this pattern, even though I had seen people talking about starting it. Everybody's going to start it August 1st, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I like the pattern. I just, you know, I wasn't going to do it. I had so many things I wanted to start. And August 1st, the day everybody started, I was seeing all the pictures on Instagram, and I couldn't stand it. This is in a bag by So Sherry, So Sweet Sherry, Sherry So Sweet. And I have, so like I said, I wasn't going to start this pattern, but the designer sells her patterns as a PDF, and it's pretty much all DMC. And I had the perfect piece of fabric. I had just bought at Barefoot Needle Art. So guess what I started August 1st? I started Summer Quaker along with everybody else. This is what it will look like when it's finished, because I have an electronic copy. The hashtag that I'm aware of is hashtag Live in the Sunshine Sal, which is the one that Hugo Stitcher and a couple other people are using. I think there's another one, maybe Summer Quaker Sale, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Anyway, so I started it, and I mean, it's beautiful. It's not like I didn't want to do it. It's one of those things, it's like, oh, I'm not going to buy that pattern yet. You know, I don't need another huge project, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, this is where I've gotten to. Not too much. I basically started up in the top left corner, and then I worked down to the outside border of the center, so that as I work, I can do border and the center a little bit at the same time, because that center is almost full coverage. So I am doing this on 40 count Barefoot Needle Arts Sea Mist, and the fabric has actually got a little bit more tinge of aqua to it than I think my camera's showing. I'm doing it with all the called for, and I have done about 546 stitches on this. I didn't tell you on March Quaker I've done 592 stitches. And generally all these new starts are still in Q-snaps or in my working on bag, because my minimum on a new start is I have to do at least 500 stitches on it. That's just my baseline for, you know, a decent start. But then I do leave them in my ottoman here next to me at least through the month, because I might just pick them up and work on them a little bit more. So my next new start is not in a project bag yet, because hopefully one's getting made. Hopefully I'm making one this weekend. This is Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower, which I'll post a picture of here because I only have an electronic copy. And this is one I have wanted to start it for a long time. At first I was like, I'm gonna finish my Moonlight Sampler before I start Night Walk Down. I'm gonna finish my Moonlight Sampler. And I couldn't say anymore. I just decided I had to have it started. So I'm doing this on 40 count Fox and Rabbit oyster shell in all of the called for floss, except I will show you in a minute here what I'm doing different. I don't know. Yeah, you can see kind of the purple tinge to the fabric. So that's as far as I've gotten, which is 553 stitches. So I'm using all the called for floss, except for, and since I don't have a paper pattern, I can't show you, but the color that is her dress, and I'll put the picture here again, hopefully so you can see what I'm talking about. The color of her dress was Gentle Art Seaweed, which was a limited edition color you can't get anymore. So you have to substitute for that. Sorry, I gotta put my glasses on to read tags. So I have pulled 2 colors to potentially use for that because it's in a couple different places. So Abyss, which is a color in cotton, I think is what I'm going to use for her dress. It's also what I'm using, sorry if you just got the top of my head. So up here in this border is wrought iron, which is really, really dark navy, and then what was supposed to be seaweed. And I'm using Abyss there for a little bit more contrast. It's not supposed to be super contrast. And so that's the complete substitution. And then the color for her hair and the cat and everything is supposed to be cinders. But my Gentle Art cinders. But my cinders and every cinders that I can find has a lot of red in it. And I think it's supposed to have, I think the original that she designed with probably had some red in it. Because that makes sense. Cinders, black and red. I don't know if I can get. So the problem with this board is it's really kind of too big for where I'm sitting. So we may have to work on that. But, so let me do this. I'm trying to get this close enough, but all I'm getting is shadows. Maybe there you can kind of see. See how red that is? It's pretty, but I don't want a red cat. So I am using this, cinders is supposed to be the words, and I'm using this in the words. I'm probably also going to use it for her hair because I don't mind her having red hair. But I have pulled, and I haven't decided which I'm going to use yet. It will, once I get there. I've pulled both Weeks Dye Works mascara and Cottage Gardens Felix, which are just a little bit different. See if you can see a difference, but I don't know if you can. I don't know. It's hard that you can't see. In person, I can see that Cottage Gardens Felix is a little bit more brown, even though it's like a black. So I will use one of those for the cat and any other place that I feel like it needs to be more of a black than that reddish color. So that is Night Walk Down. It's finally started. I'm not good. I know, like, Courtney from Stitches Please. Hey, Courtney. She does things like, I think she has a new moon stitch and a full moon stitch and things like that. And I know other people, like, on the 25th of every month, they work on Christmas, or on the 31st of every month, they work on, like, spooky or Halloween. I'm not good at doing stuff like that. I get, the 25th comes around and I feel obligated to work on Christmas. That annoys me. So, who knows when I'll pick that up again. We'll see. Okay, 2 more new starts. These two were, like Summer Quaker, these two were totally unplanned originally. I have a bag over here with like 5 more things I want to start in the next couple months and have plans to start that are all kitted up. But did I start any more of those? No, I started 2 new different ones. So I watched Sebastian from Bees and Tees Stitching, and his birthday was last Monday the 14th, and he wanted to do a Bees and Tees birthday sal with any pattern from Jan Hicks, Haid, something from Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I feel like there might have been a 4th one, but I don't remember what it was. And he's starting Love is Love by Jan Hicks, Minnie the 10th from Haid, Heaven and Earth Designs, and Sugar Skull Cat from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition. Well, I had already started Love is Love by Jan Hicks. I had not seen Minnie the 10th from Haid, so I immediately had to rush out and buy that one. And I had looked at Sugar Skull Cat, and I thought, well, okay, so I need an excuse to start more things. So I started both Minnie the 10th and Sugar Skull Cat as part of his birthday celebration, although I did start Minnie the 10th on the 13th, the day before his birthday, because I knew with work on Monday I wouldn't have time to start both of them. So first up, Minnie the 10th. Right now this is in a Beauty and the Beast bag from the Brass Button. Hopefully eventually it will get another more theme appropriate bag. So this is what it will look like when it's done. It's a Doctor Who. If you don't know the reference, the 10th. It's the 10th Doctor, which was David Tennant, which was my favorite Doctor, because who doesn't like looking at David Tennant? This is the floss. So another thing that I made over the last couple weeks is I have finally used up almost all of the, like, I'm looking to see if I had one handy. Well, these aren't. This is my card for my channel, but you know, a lot of people at events give you like these business cards, like for floss drops. I had gotten a ton at StitchCon last year, StitchCon 2022, and I finally used up almost all of them. So I did not have enough floss drops to put this floss on, so I made some floss drops. I store my fancy floss in a hanging file that I had cut the hanging part off the folder, so I had, because I don't throw anything away because I'm a hoarder, I had kept the like rest of the folder because, you know, it was a good like cardstock. So I bought this punch, which actually doesn't punch the whole tag out. It just punches this shape up at the top, this part, and the hole right here. So you cut strips of paper and then use the hole punch to create this, and then I used another punch to make these holes. So anyway, so I made a bunch of floss tags, and I've got a little bag over here with probably about 50 more to hold on my floss for this project, because this is like a 90 color Haid. And for my Haids, I do, other than for 310, because I have a Cone of Doom over here, I do an entire skein of every color, even though I do usually look at the stitch thing and everything, but I just go ahead and do an entire skein of every color, because I know, or multiple skeins if it calls for it. But if it doesn't, even if it says it's like 300 stitches, I will do a whole skein. And the reason is that I know the Haids are going to take me probably years to do, and I don't want to end up 3 years from now needing more of a color of floss, and what I have in my master list is a different dye lot. So I would rather have too much floss of a color, and when I'm finally done with the project, have extras to put back in the box, than to run out of a color and it be a totally different dye lot. Particularly on a pattern like this, where it's not blocks of color so much as but it is lots of blues all in one place. I think it would be more noticeable if I had a different dye lot. Anyway, why don't I show you the project that I've done? Sorry. I got talking about different random stuff. So anyway, this is where I've gotten. And basically what I did, is that's the top left corner. I worked all the way over across, you know, kind of skimmed my way across the top. That's the full width of the project. This is on 25 count, Easy Grid Lugana. So I just got all the way across so that I can start working from the top down, and that way, you know, depending on what color I feel like working on or whatever, I can work from the top down. And that is 597 stitches so far. So this is not a giant one. I think the total stitch count is like 70,000, something like that. You know, which is a lot of stitches, but it's a mini, and so for a Haid, that's not too bad. I mean, my biggest Haid, Quarantine Cat, I think is over 300,000 stitches. It will be a long time before I finish that. And then my last new start, sorry, let me get my pages flipped here. This is in a project bag that I made. It's the first one I made. So, I used, it came out really well. I'm real happy with it. you know, a couple little minor flaws because I'm not the world's greatest sewist, but I'm happy with it. I used the tutorial on Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch her floss tube. She has a video tutorial on these project bags. I followed that, except that I did size the bag up. So her tutorial and the measurements she gives you will make an 11 by 13 bag. I made a 14 by 14 bag. So I have sized the pieces up and made it a bigger bag because that's the size I prefer. So if you need those measurements, I'll be happy to give them to you. But other than that, I exactly followed her tutorial. I can't talk. Her tutorial for how to make the bag. So anyway, I made just one because I wanted to make sure that my changes in measurements was going to come out to the right size. And now that I've done one, I'm hoping to make some more this weekend. So this is Sugar Skull Cat, which was in the 2023 Halloween Just Cross Stitch. This is what it'll look like. I'll put a picture up because I have scanned the pattern and don't have the magazine in here. I am doing this with all the called for DMC, and I'm doing it on a 36 count Jody fabric, Jody from the Steel City Stitchers. And this is where I am. So I wasn't sure with the Jody fabric. I really did kind of want it in the middle of the fabric. So I started in the middle, and I've kind of worked my way up to his well, I guess it's his right ear. It's the ear that's on my left if I'm looking at him. So I've worked my way up to the ear, and now I'll start kind of working probably down from there. So anyway, it's it's a pattern from the magazine. So it does have several quarter stitches, mainly where there's going to be back stitching. It has you do quarter stitches on either side of the back stitch line so that the back stitch line will be like the other cross, which I think will look good once it's done. Right now it's kind of weird to see the little quarter stitches. So I am got this blue right here is a lot darker in person than the picture looks, and I think it's just because the picture was taken with a flash. So the overall, and that's like I think the main blue, so it's going to be a darker blue than the picture looks like, which is not my fave, but you know what, I'm not really going to worry that much about it. It's not that huge of a piece, so I'm just going to do what it says. Do what's called for. Yeah, and this one is the one I used up like the last of my floss cards from StitchCon 2022, so I've got to order some more myself for the retreats I'm going to this fall. So that is all of the quarters in session. On the docket, I've got to do 5 more hours on my haunted library to meet my WIP Go goal. I want to get at least another 1,000 stitches on haberdashery shop to meet my goal for that for the month. I'm hoping to get those done this weekend, or at least by early part of the week. We leave Thursday to go to Waco, Texas for the Southwest Association of Woodturners. And I'm looking at the forecast, and it's supposed to be like 104 degrees next week. I mean, it's hot enough here, but anyway. So I will probably, for that, I'm not 100% sure. I think I will probably take March Quaker with me and try to get, a good chunk of that done. I may not finish it, but that will probably be the primary piece that I will work on stitch-wise while I'm there. If by some chance I do finish it, that piece of fabric also has Love is Love on it, and both of them are in the same app on my iPad, so I will have everything with that. I'll probably take a little Mill Hill kit just because that's easier for like plain or something like that. And then I'm probably going to take knitting wise. I haven't done any knitting since the last time I talked to you, except for maybe a couple rounds on my socks. And I think I did like a half a row of crochet on my corner to corner crochet blanket. But I'm going to take my socks, obviously, because those are what I always carry around with me. And I will probably take my ladybird wrap because I had wanted to finish that middle piece this month and I have done nothing on it. So I don't know if I'll finish the middle piece, but I find knitting to be a little more portable if I'm out and about. I mean, I am going to have probably some time to sit and stitch even during the day on Saturday that weekend, but we'll see. I might, before the end of the month, start The Old Graveyard by Thistle. It's this, I can't remember if it's Thistle something or just Thistle, the designer. It's a pattern I showed you last time that I had just bought. That's relatively small, and something I'll show you in Stashing for Retirement I bought to do as a finish for that. So I don't know if I'll get it finished this year, but I want to get that one started. I don't have a set date for that one. And also, I was tempted today, and after I record this and get it edited, and while it's processing, I'm going to see if I can kit it from Stash. I may start the Equality Sampler by Plum Street. Nancy from the Disorderly Stitcher is doing a sale with that with somebody else, and I can't remember who, and they just started it. And I love the pattern. I have the pattern. I'm sure I have fabric. The question is, do I have the flosses? But, you know, I'm probably going to go shopping at some cross-stitch stores next weekend, so I could probably start with what flosses I have. So, we'll see. I may start that one. Also, I have plans on September 1st. I'm going to start Scary Sampler from Heartstring Samplery with Sarah, Memphis Sarah E. Memphis Sarah E. Is that how it is? I can't remember what the order of her name is. She and a couple people are doing a start along for that starting September 1st. So I'm going to start that. I have one of the projects I have kitted up is Happy Campers from the Blue Flower, which was released. The Blue Flower, when she puts her, you know, she does new releases, and then 6 months later, when she does her next set of new releases, her previous new releases become available as PDF on her website, and I prefer PDF if I can get it. So that Happy Campers that was released at Needlework Market in March just became available as PDF, and I bought that. I've kitted it up. I'm ready to go on that. So I think I may start that on Labor Day, because, you know, camping Labor Day, that sounds logical to me. And then I have more starts that I plan in October as well, but hopefully I'll be back before then to tell you about those. So anyway, that's on the docket. Let's go to Stashing for Retirement. Okay, Stashing for Retirement. I have some things, but not nearly as much as I do a lot of times. Although a lot of what I bought lately was DMC floss to kit up a bunch of stuff. So I'm not showing you that. You'll see that one whenever it gets started. So let me just show you first a couple of digital things that I have bought PDF other than the patterns I've either already started or I've already talked about. Owl Forest Embroidery. Somebody showed something that I decided to go look at their website because I was looking at their like floss packs and stuff. And I have ordered some of their floss, which, you know, obviously is taking a while to get here. They have a UK site now that you can order. So I don't know if it's shipping from Russia still. But I got the patterns that I got to go with floss things I got digitally. So I still have already have the digital patterns, and I will show you the floss when it gets here. Excuse me. So I bought 3 patterns from Owl Forest. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So one is Wondrous Guardian Custodians is the English translation. I'll put a picture up here. I just really liked it, the blues and golds and stuff. The next one is Red and Black Sampler, and I put a picture up here. If you know me, you know I am not a red fan. I probably don't have anything red in my wardrobe. Now, I like burgundies and things like that, but I don't like red. Now, this is not bright red, so that's probably why I like it. But for some reason, this really drew my eye. And then the last one is Groningen Sampler. I'm not sure. Groningen, Groningen. sampler. And honestly, for this one, I saw the thread pack first, and it's like variegated blues, and I had to have it. And I bought the pattern that the thread pack was for. I don't know if I like this pattern. I don't know if I'm going to do this pattern, but I wanted to have a pattern to go with the thread pack. I may end up using the thread pack on something else. So those are the 3 that I bought from Al Force Embroidery that are digital. And when the floss gets here, I'll show you that. So anyway, besides that, I got my Bestitch Me. This was July. And I have switched I used to get 36 count and alternate between neutral and color. I've now switched to 40 count neutral because I've got tons of 36 count, and so I've been working on building up more 40 count stash. And I'm just, as much as I love the colors, I'm finding I'm using the neutrals more. So this is lightly salted, not roasted, and it's a really pretty nice neutral with some modeling and stuff in it. So I got that. And then Amy of Fiber Arts Amy was destashing some fabric on Instagram, and so I bought one piece from her. This is a fat half called Purple Haze by Color Cascade Fabrics. Their website ends in a .au, so it's apparently an Australian designer. And this is a, I think it's 28 count. I need to double check that. It doesn't actually say on here. I know I have it in, I need to go and look at Instagram and make sure I write that down. So, but anyway, it's a really bright purple. It's a fat half of 28 count, so I figured something, Halloween or Mira or something's going to go on that at some point. I bought a couple things at Michael's for finishing. So that old graveyard that I mentioned will fit. It's not a very big piece, particularly because I think I'm doing it on 40 count. So my idea is that when that's done, I will paint this black or, you know, grayish black or something like a tombstone and mount it on here. And no, sorry, not Michael's, Joann's had this. And then also at Joann's on a different trip, I found this. And I think I had already bought this, but then I saw somebody else, I think maybe Sarah from Memphis, Sarah E, had bought this also with the same idea I had to do a Halloween piece, paint this black and like mount it on the middle. So don't know what pattern will go in there. We'll see. Something eventually. And then I ordered from Pam at not Just Keep Stitching. Wrong Pam. Pam at Stitch New England. So she had these 2 new Mill Hill kits that I really wanted that just were released. Sweet Sheep, because who doesn't need a sheep with 4 little stockings on its feet and a candy cane in its mouth? And Canada Goose, which is really cute, a goose with a scarf and a present. And of course, while I was on there, I couldn't resist ordering a couple more patterns. So I got Happy Halloween from Luminous Fiber Arts. And it has an alternate pattern of Happy Autumn if you're not a Halloween person. And that alternate pattern is a little bit different. It doesn't have the faces on the pumpkin. So, and then she had a new designer, the Artsy Housewife. And I liked this Una Owl, so I bought that. And that's a pretty small 122 by 103, I think. So on 40 count, it'd be like 5 by 6 inches. So, and then somebody was having a sale, but I can't remember who. Can't remember if it was Top Knot. I was looking before I started recording this part, and I can't find in my email where I ordered this. So if it was Top Knot or if it was Kitten Stitcher, it was somebody that I've ordered from before, but that I don't order from as regularly as I order from like Stitch New England and Barefoot. Anyway, they were having a sale, and I couldn't resist a few things. So I bought October 31st by Cottage Garden. This is Amy and Memory, Barefoot Needle Art, are getting ready to start a sale with Mischievous Stitches, maybe, on this. I don't know. I'm not going to start this now. Not going to start another one other than the ones I've already got planned. But, you know, that may be a lie. This is actually more embroidery. This is Quilting Causes Global Warming by Chickadee Hollow Designs. And I just thought that was cute. I have, I think, another embroidery pattern by her that I bought at a quilt show one time that I haven't done yet. This is Praiseworthy Stitches, which was one of their releases at market this year that I did not get because I have quite a few Praiseworthy Stitches patterns that I haven't even started yet, but it was on sale at whoever it was that was doing this sale, and so I couldn't resist it, so I went ahead and bought it. Haunted Hillside Farm. Sorry, I didn't say the pattern name, but hopefully you've read it by now. But just in case you're not watching, you're just listening. And then from the Cricket collection, the Cross-Eyed Cricket, I got Playing with Jacks, which I've seen some people do. And this also has another pattern of Little Boo up there at the top, which is really cute, a little mitten with a owl. And then I also got from the Cricket collection Wickedy, which is this witch, and it has an alternate pattern of this little mummy that's called If a Mummy Wore a Mitten. So got those. And then last, I was watching Memphis Sarah E, her latest one, and she was talking about starts and stuff and things and showing that she had kitted a couple of things up in Vicki Clayton silks. And I've never used Vicki Clayton silks. But one of the things she had kitted up that she's doing, that she's starting on October 1st, is a pattern that I've had since last year and I love, and I haven't actually kitted up, and I decided, well, this is the perfect time to start try Vicki Clayton silks. So I bought the Vicki Clayton silks for Teresa Koget's Halloween sampler. Is that what it's called? Halloween. It's the one that was the front of the book that she released at last year's market. I think it was market last year. Anyway, so I got the Vicki Clayton conversion for that. I was very confused when I first got this because I've never ordered Vicki Clayton's silk before. So it took me a while to realize that there weren't. At first I thought this list was a list of all the floss that was supposed to be in here. And I was like, well, where's the colonial copper? You know, where's the onyx? There's not 4 onyx in there, until I finally realized that that was the conversion. That's telling you the onyx is this. Anyway, so I got that. And also while I was on there, I paid, you know, I got one of her like 25-yard mystery skeins. And I don't want to take these out of the plastic bags till I'm ready to put them on something else. So it's kind of a, that's right. It's kind of a brownie mauvey color. It's pretty. So anyway, that is all of the stashing for retirement. See, not nearly as much as usual. Hey y'all, I'm recording this real quick to stick in because as I'm editing the video, I realized that I forgot to tell y'all about another new purchase that I have. So you're actually getting to see the other side of my craft room. But anyway, I have another pretty big purchase that I forgot to tell you about. A friend of mine has decided that she's no longer going to do quilting, and so she was selling her AccuQuilt Go Big with 35 dies. And even though I have never been a huge quilter, I might be more of one in the future, because she offered it to me at a price that I absolutely could not pass up. And so I now own an AccuQuilt Go Big with 35 dies. And so there may be some more quilting in my future as well. Anyway, back to the regular video. And so on the calendar, like I said, we leave Thursday for Waco, Texas, for the Southwest Association of Woodturners. My husband is a woodturner. If anybody watching happens to be going there, say hi. I am planning, I need to reserve a car. My tentative plan right now is to rent a car Friday. The problem I'm having, I've looked at them several times, is the rental car agencies don't open until, I mean, they open at like 7:30 or 8, which is fine. But you have to return the cars by like 5:30 or 6. And I'm not sure, one, I'm not likely to be there at 7:30 in the morning to pick up the car. I mean, I'm probably going to get up a little earlier than normal, but I'm not going to be there at 7:30 to pick up the car. So it's probably more likely to be 8:39 before I pick up the car. And what I have planned, if it works out, I probably will not be getting back to Waco till more like 6:37. So I'm trying to decide, do I just want to rent the car, pick it up? Well, I will be there in time to pick it up Thursday, but if I just pick it up Friday and probably turn it in Saturday, and then if I'm going to do that, what time do I tell them I'm bringing it back Saturday? That's the problem, because I don't know, what time I would get back over there and Uber back to the hotel and all that stuff. So anyway, but anyway, my plan is to rent a car and Friday go visit some cross-stitch shops. It's about a little over an hour up to the Dallas area where there's a couple I want to hit, and then I was going to drive back down to near Fort Hood, which has also changed names, and I can't remember what the new name for it is. There's a little town, Copperas Cove or something near that is supposed to have a cute cross-stitch shop. So, but if I do all that, that will take most of the day. So, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, other than that, just nothing new other than the first weekend in October, I will be at Queen City Retreat in Charlotte. The weekend after that, I will be at Stitch New England in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The store is in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, but the retreat is actually in Foxborough, just up the road. And then the weekend after that, I will be at SAF in Fletcher, North Carolina, which is right next to Asheville. And that's all I have planned so far. So anyway, if you stuck out this long, I appreciate you checking me out or coming back to watch me again and watching the whole thing. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below, or there is a link tree below that has my email. You can email me there. Also below, I have a link to my cross-stitch whip spreadsheet, which will give you all the fabrics and all that stuff if I forgot to mention something. I didn't show any knitting this time, but if you want to see my knitting crochet projects, you can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle, and I do have project pages for everything that I've on my whips there. I think that's about it. Follow me on Instagram as Criminally Creative Podcast. I have tried to drop the podcast. Unfortunately, there's somebody else who's got Criminally Creative, even though they never post. I haven't been able to find a permutation of just Criminally Creative that I can get, so Criminally Creative Podcast it is. But anyway, I think that's it. Y'all take care, stay safe, and enjoy your stitching. Talk to you later. Bye.